all the signatures on that page out. Mary Norwood was 4 hours late, and they threw, I don't know how many thousands, 70,000, 9,000 signatures she had out because she was 4 hours late. You're supposed to give them in, supposed to submit the request at noon and get it at 4:30. So basically, we even had cases where petitioners were arrested just for this petitioning in a park. We had one case in a Green Party person. We had a guy in the Constitution Party who was charged for forgery. And I'm sorry, he was accused of forgery. He wasn't actually charged. So he goes down to the state election board. You might, this is on our website. He goes down to the state election board, and they said that, well, you might have forged some signatures, but there's multiple people here. So he said, okay, well, show me the forged signature. He said, all my signatures were already validated by the county. And they said, well, you know, we don't know. So he asked the Inspector General, Sean LaRue, who was the subject of about 70 impeachment charges, and she's still now a judge, sitting on the Fulton County bench. So she can't produce any evidence that he forged these signatures. And says, okay, then he goes over to the state election board, still let it go. And it was a fascinating conversation, but David, well, they were actually going to, they wanted him to prove that he was innocent before they let him go. And one of the election board members said, wait a minute, this is America. You're innocent until proven guilty. And this is actually in the transcript. So after 3 times in the state election board, they finally decided that he actually had not forged in signatures, and he hadn't. So, but that's the kind of stuff that we're up against here, and that's why it's so hard. So what's the solution to this problem? We have a bill. It's sitting in the House Government Affairs Committee right now. It's called HB 494. It was sponsored by Leslie Kidd, who's actually on the Election Advisory Council. The Election Advisory Council is considering this bill right now as to whether it recommend. So here's what it does. Basically, it eliminates the petition requirement statewide. There's no cost to do that. We're going to redo the code books anyway, and so often it's greatly simplifies the code books. It probably takes about 20% of the code out of it. About 20% of the code is all about petitioning. So there's no cost to implement it. We don't have to spend any money. All we got to do is do it. And somebody might say, well, gee, what about, oh, you might get a frivolous candidate on the ballot. Well, Florida implemented this in 1999, and they were successful because the candidate still has to pay their qualification fee, which is 3% of the salary for the office. So you still have to pay 3% fee to run, but you shouldn't have to do any petition. Literally, you can spend thousands and thousands of dollars petitioning while your competition is already putting up signs and everything else. So HB 494 is the solution to this problem. It is sitting in the House Government Affairs Committee right now. It just needs to get a hearing. To get the hearing, I can guarantee you that it will pass out of the committee before the House. It's a bipartisan bill, and I'd like to get the in-house House on it. People are voting and stuff, and the bill is co-sponsored. Unfortunately, though, it's not supported by the Secretary of State, nor is it supported by the leadership of the House or the Senate. So, Brian Kemp, this is me. I asked him about this. I was actually in the Founding Fathers Tea Party in Gwinnett last week, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, and this was the topic of debate. I decided I was going to stop this. He's heard the electronic voting issue. I'm going to talk about this. We haven't got there. Ronnie Day, we couldn't get on the ballot. We explained the issue. Brian said he's not in favor of removing the requirements. Might consider reducing them, but if you reduce them, you still have all the costs of petitioning, all the complexity of the code and everything else. So my point was, if Florida eliminated, why can't we do it? We don't have should we have the same rights as Georgians as the people from Florida? So that has not gone well. So this is a golden opportunity. I would like to see this. If nothing got done on one this year, and this got passed, maybe this will never done. Because it's a golden opportunity. We have the bill sitting there in the Government Affairs Committee right now in Science Problem. We still got 4 months before the legislature starts. We've got 912 Project Tea Party first investment. If we pounded these people, they would have to do something. It's just a matter of doing it right. So here's the question, what can we do about this same thing? We can contact the Election Advisory Council, we already talked about that with members. I'm hoping that they will recommend 494 to be implemented. I know that we have, the sponsor of the bill on the council, I know that we've got support from at least one other member, and there might be a couple that are kind of on the fence. So if we get a group of them all saying, yeah, we need to do this, and maybe they'll convince the others are not really leaders, they're all followers of the laws. So here's what you can do. And I think this is one of the most important things you can do. Call Brian Campbell. And there's his number, 446-562-881. Call office. If you see him, he's going around, he's actually in Cherokee. He was in Cherokee here this past week, but I couldn't get up here in time. Basically said, look, we need, you got the ammunition, we need to just make our ballot free and open. The people of Georgia need to be able to run for office. They deserve to be able to run for office. It's not, see, the problem we got here is that the leadership of the Democratic Republican Party believe that this ballot is their property. The ballot is not the property of the citizens of the state of Georgia. They believe that they have earned the right to have that exclusive club access to the ballot through previous elections. And they believe that, and they don't want competition for their races. And it really wouldn't be that much competition. I mean, nothing changed dramatically in Florida by having free and open access, equal access to the ballot. So there's really no fear, shouldn't be any fear there, but there is tremendous fear.
You might want to make note that Perry is going against the Green Party, Libertarian, and the Democratic Party.
Yes. So, I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
Rick Perry has won against the Green Party, Libertarian Party, and the Democratic Party in Texas. So, I mean, it's a bogus argument that somehow it would upset the apple cart. If the other parties can't get their figures to the polls, the major two parties will win anyway.
Exactly. And that's exactly right. If everybody, if we couldn't get the people to vote, then major parties will win anyway. So there really is not an issue. But there's a perception. They're scared. So the other key person here is the chairman of the House Government Affairs Committee, Mark Hamilton. I gave you his numbers. These are his. Now let's be careful with these because these are actually his. One of them is either his home or his cell on the other. So be polite. 770-844-6768. That's either his home or his cell. So just be polite. Be concise. You say, Chairman, we need. Don't you think that the people of Georgia deserve open ballot access? It's 494. Rusty Kid's bill, he knows it. I've pounded him already about it. So he's key, as is David Lofton, of course, David's Speaker of the House. David is going to claim that he doesn't have any role as to what the committee hears about. I don't know. Shelley's not going to comment on that. So, So anyway, so he'll claim, so we'll have to get the hearing through Mark Hamilton. If Brian Kemp supports it, they'll give it a hearing. That's simple. But, so Brian Kemp and Mark Hamilton are the two guys that are key, and then we'll have to get it through the rules, which I think it'll go through the rules and it'll go forward. And our problem might come in the Senate. But this is a golden opportunity that we really should not pass up this session. And we shouldn't wait, because what we want to happen, we want this hearing for this bill the day the legislature starts. The first time to have a committee meeting. You don't want to wait until late in this session to try to get a hearing for a bill and try to get it passed. So if we go in pounding them from now until the end of the year and say we want this hearing, as soon as they have it, committee a meeting, then they should be able to schedule a hearing to get it. That way we can get it through rules faster before all the other bills pile up. And so that's pretty much what you can do. Let's see what I got. One more thing. House Government Affairs Committee. Once it gets a hearing, these members will determine that whether or not that bill passes. I can almost guarantee that if this bill gets a hearing, it will pass that committee meeting. So we've got a lot of support on that committee, and it's just a matter, the issue is getting a hearing because that's something between the leadership, the chairman of the committee, and the speaker of the House. They decide what bills get a hearing, what bills come. And that's where I stumbling block is, because the leadership doesn't work. So that's where we got to work. So that's why I'm saying Mark Hamilton, Brian Kemp, David Ralston are the three key people. These people are going on. So that's all I've got. I really thank you for coming. Looks like we got a couple questions on the guy. His name.
Have you done any press releases on this?
Have we done any press releases? Well, yeah, that's a good point. So the Constitution Party, which I'm going to be a part of, did do an endorsement of HB 494. We've already endorsed it. I'm trying to get the Libertarians to endorse it because I've got a lot of good friends in the Libertarian Party. We hope to try to help David Chastain for Secretary of State because of all the resistance we have. So I'm trying to get them to endorse it. I'm also trying to work on the Greens Party to get some endorsements and stuff on some more publicity. But so far, the only publicity has been the Constitution Party endorsement. Great question. Thanks so much.
Quick one.
I just want to mention that, as everyone knows, there's no vested interest in Democrats or Republicans. I mean, Sonny was a Democrat from '98 after the deregulation of natural gas. So they're not going to give up this power easily. You're just going to have to network yourself with folks that you don't ordinarily might want to be with in order to win this battle. And that's what it's going to take. The disenfranchised folks from both parties need to come together to force this down.
Exactly. Last key point, disenfranchised people from both parties come together. The progressives are disenfranchised. What we've learned is that there's a lot of common issues that we can work together with. Conservatives and progressives, libertarians can all work together. We can pick these around set of issues, and we can really put more and more heat on the leadership.
Okay, can you explain to me what you're talking about in progressive? Because when I hear that word...
Progressives? Oh, we can't get into that right now because we'll be here all
Well,
day.
no, I'm just saying, is it the same as I'm thinking?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's just what it's progressive, and but they take it and go to the
Okay.
Right. So there's a lot of issues that we disagree on. There's a couple you might be able to disagree on.
Yeah.
So thanks, Jack. Thanks for having me.
We've got Rich Lasky who's come up. He's got a pretty good little presentation.
I've got 3 presentations, but first I'm going to start with the trees. How many of you get GBTV? How many of you get GBTV, and how many of you saw Wednesday's program? Okay. Glenn introduced something in his trip to Israel called 10 Responsibilities. Immediately after that, went on his website. On Wednesday, he talked about it on his show, and we're going to include those in because he's recommending it, and I think it's a good idea, and people I've talked to have said so also. We're going to include the 10 responsibilities in with the 9 principles and 12 values, and they really dovetail quite well in with what we're doing. So without further, because we're going to be a little constrained here.
Service project. This is where I will eventually end my career. This is where I will spend the rest of my days in service of others. Because that's really all it's about, is service, our responsibility. Unless you know our history, unless you know how good things have been and how bad things can be, you don't know where we're headed, and you don't know how to defend anything. we have got to look for our responsibilities. You follow the responsibilities that I laid out on the website, and I will tell you that you will change the world. We introduced them in Israel, and I want to share them. I want you to spread them. I want you to live them. What we started with the 912 Project, I would hope those members of GBTV, and if you're a 912 member or a Tea Party member or just on your own, I would ask that you would do these things and make these things a part of your life. It is one thing, and you must know, on Friday we're going to do a special on the Constitution. You must know the Constitution. You must be involved in your voting districts and seek out good people. I mean, it's why it's Wiener Day here at the Glenn Beck program. You have to do that.
This was the day after the election.
But I ask that you would make this a priority in your life, because I truly believe that in the end, this is what's going to make the difference. The responsibilities. Let me go over some of them. Because I have the right to choose, I recognize that I am accountable to God and have the responsibility to keep the 10 Commandments in my own life. You can't have a free society if we're not living by a higher law, if we don't do the right thing. You have to do the right thing if you want the right to be free and to choose your own path. Because I have the right to worship as I choose, I have the responsibility to honor the right of others to worship as they see fit. You can't be anti-Muslim or anti-Catholic or anti-anything. Can't be anti-atheist. You have a right to choose, so do they. But we all have to be responsible for our actions and not dismiss them. 3, because I have freedom of speech, I have the responsibility to defend the speech of others. Mr. President, when I said, I believe, that's my freedom of speech. Why are you trying to squelch my freedom of speech? No one should ever try to shut Keith Olbermann or any other knucklehead off the air. No one should. We all have a right to our own opinion, even, and maybe especially, if I strongly disagree with what they're saying. We have a responsibility to defend them. Because I have the right to pursue happiness, I have the responsibility to show humility and express gratitude for all of the blessings that I enjoy and the rights that I have been given. Because I have the right to honest and good government, I will seek out honest and just representation when possible. If I can't find it, because everybody's Anthony Weiner, then I have the responsibility to take that place myself. This is what happened today here in New York. People sought it out. Whether the guy turns out to be any good, I don't know. This one, because I have the God-given right to liberty, I have the personal responsibility to have the courage to defend others to be secure in their persons, their lives, and their property. If you want to be free, you must defend others, even at your own peril. When they came to round up the Jews, remember, they said first they came for the communists. I'm not going to be for rounding up any communists. Don't be for rounding up any Tea Party members. Don't be for rounding up any Japanese. If you don't think it can happen in America, it already has happened. It happened with the Italians. It happened with the Japanese. It happened with the Germans in the last 100 years. If you don't think it could happen in America, explain slavery. It happens. We must be fearless. Because I have the right to equal justice, not social justice, equal justice. I will stand for those who are wrongly accused or unjustly blamed. You must be without blemish or without spot on this. Even if it hurts your own agenda. Even if you're like, I can't believe I'm standing next to this guy. If Anthony Weiner were innocent, if he were being smeared in the press, this guy tried to put me out of business. He came after my sponsors with the full force of Congress. If he would have been wrongly accused, I would have said, oh, crap. Leave the guy alone. It's imperative. Because we have the right to knowledge, I have to be accountable for myself and my children's education. Don't leave it up to the schools. Don't leave it up to the schools. We have to live our lives in such a way that ensures the continuation of truth. And I got news for you, gang. The reason why I spent the money to go here is because I am very concerned that the truth will survive. You must do everything you can, our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor, to ensure the continuation of truth. Because I have the right to pursue my dreams and keep the fruit of my labors, I have the responsibility to feed, protect, and shelter my family, the less fortunate, the fatherless, the old, and infirm. We have to take care of each other, but not through the government, but as individuals. Because I have the right to truth, I will not bear false witness, nor will I idly stand by as others do. I will tell you, I said this to my staff early this morning. I can't tell you exactly, I can't vocalize it yet on what is happening. But there is something happening and something coming. And I don't mean in the bad way. Usually when I say something's coming, it's always bad. This one, something is coming, but it is very, very good. And I have a feeling that it all revolves around you. We have a tremendous opportunity, but also a tremendous responsibility. Know your rights. Stop listening to those stupid human rights leaders that are all about control and power. And start living your responsibilities, because your responsibility is the key. And only if you recognize your responsibilities will you be prepared for something very, very good that is coming. Back in a minute.